race from the Talladega Super Speedway, our running of the Aaron's 499, a classic, of course, on the old bumpy Talladega surface with these Gen 4 cars. It's going to be a handling nightmare in the pack, but we're going to try to do what we can to get yet another win on the season. 6 of them total in the first 8 races with Dave Blaney. Unprecedented start to Dave Blaney's 2006 season. As we try to go for the championship, we come in with nearly a 1 full race point lead over Dale Jr., who is, of course, the ace at Talladega in this era of NASCAR. So we'll see who will get the best of each other here today. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. It's the first of 3 streams this week on NASCAR 07, leading into the 3 days after that, all being live commentary streams, Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend. Elimination race for the playoffs. Can't wait for that. But to bring you there, we've got some NASCAR 7 content. This is our only Cup race this week, with having the shortened week, of course, with the truck race on Thursday night. So usually we don't start the live commentary streams till Friday. Most of the time Saturday. We're starting at Thursday this week, so short week in between races. But here we go. Let's get this one started. Qualified in the, I got to remember here, 25th place position. Here we are. Green flag is in the air. Mark Martin's on the pole. So starting mid-pack in this one, you can tell we don't have the fastest car right off the rip, at least if we were to lead the pack. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays itself out. Little bump drive to the back of Jeremy Mayfield, getting up to speed between gears 3 and 4. It kind of stalled us out a little bit, and that's going to break the pack in front of us ahead just a little bit. Ryan Newman going to get by on the outside. 3 wide bottom into turns 3 and 4. We're already in a semi-treacherous spot here on the opening lap of the race. Trying to get the momentum back up. Now we're 3 wide middle. Nemechek giving just enough of help to the back of the 22 of Dave Blaney. Blaney creeping back in on Stewart and Newman. Going to the outside of Tony Stewart initially. Martin out in front of the field. Leads the first lap. Dave Blaney going to bump draft Tony Stewart, on the backstretch. Big time shoves. We led 70 laps in the Daytona 500 earlier this season, so I think that we will be good. Well, they're 4 wide, by the way, off turn 4. 4 wide, and they did make it. I was scared we were going to see a big one already. We got close. Blaney pulling out a line on Stewart. Is it a little early, though? He's going to clear the 20 car. A lot of side-by-side and still 3 wide racing going on just up ahead. That slows that pack down just enough. Blaney's got a big run on the back of Jeff Burton. There he goes. Following up the inside. A push to the back of the 16 of Biffle getting into turn 3. Trying to get by Scott Riggs' Kyle Petty now. And that will break Blaney into the top 20. I don't have any teammates in the Cup Series on this game. Oh, man, we are getting squeezed into the corner. I got to lift. Oh, man, that could have been a wreck. We're good. I was getting squeezed. I was just trying to stay away from him. That could have been costly. On only lap 4, nonetheless. We were battling for the win on the final lap of the Daytona 500, so we get the track position. We can definitely get up here and always, make it interesting at the finish. It's about where I qualified at Daytona on speed. Obviously, in the dual race, it was a little different. you know, with the field cut in half from where I qualified initially for the 500 to where I ended up eventually starting the race just outside the top 10. So it might take a little longer to get to the front of the field here in this one versus the 500 earlier in the year, so I don't think I'll lead as many laps, but I like to think we could still be contenders. Passes to the outside of Brian Vickers and J.J. Yaley. Out of speed there. Clearing them both into turn one. Is that red? Oh, no, it's my colorblindness got the best of me there. I thought he was a rival there for a second. Couldn't tell. He was not. He was an ally. Got a lot of allies in the Cup Series. That's good. Seems like I've put together more cleaner races on the Cup side of things. Probably why I've won more. Oh, speaking of which, Greg Biffle not clean there. Some contact off turn 4. Thought he was clear. He was not. And that stalls more momentum out for this 22 of Dave Blaney yet again. No, the fuel window, I would assume it's going to be around 35 laps. We raced here a couple times, obviously, in the Mark Martin Revenge Tour season. And I thought I remembered it being around like 35, 36 laps or so. So I'm expecting to pit 5 times today. That's my goal. My goal is 5 pit stops in this race, however many, however we can get there. I'm looking at 5 pit stops being my personal strategy. So, I mean, it should be pretty easy to make it on 5 stops, honestly. Obviously, depending on how cautions could potentially play out, something we'll have to keep an eye on. We're going to try to take these runs as far as we can for the beginning of the race, for sure. Allergies getting the best of you. Oh my gosh. That was on me that time. Gave a push to Robbie Gordon too deep into the corner and got tight. Is it actually allergies, though, or is it actually getting sick? Because I feel like I get allergies really bad, but I don't... I mean, it definitely... I'll kind of have that dryness in my throat. Runny nose, sneezing a lot and stuff. Sometimes my eyes get real itchy, but I don't, consider myself sick. I'm still able to function enough to, go to work and stuff. Even though I know it's going to be a long day, but... Hang on to it. We're good. I'm being over-aggressive here in these first 9 laps. That's the problem here. What was that? I was trying to bump draft Matt Kenseth, and that just went wrong. I know I can bump draft. I mean, I've done it so many times before on this game, even with these Gen 4 cars that don't, always align properly, but I'm just not hitting them square today. 2 or 3 times I've gotten either myself or the car in front of me out of shape. Get in your groove, yeah. Sad part is I actually ran practice too. I didn't run really around other cars for the most part. We were pretty spread out in practice. There's J.J. Yaley. Right back in line behind Brian Vickers and try to bum draft him again. Well, I wanted to bump draft him, and I had so much speed I got to his outside. That's not going to help either one of us. Kevin Harvick, by the way, has been leading these last few laps. Go to sleep when this is done. We'll get done at an earlier time, I guess, compared to usual with these cup streams. Starting an hour earlier. Probably get done around 8-ish if I had to guess. It'll be a few hours. 500-mile race. Blaney with a push to Brian Vickers again. I'd like to get up to this lead pack before they start to space out quite a bit more. I know how to get through traffic here. We're fast enough to stay in the draft with other cars. You know, I can't say the same for when we were here in the Busch Series about a week ago or so. Where we're at right now, we can do some good. Best record since August 23rd for the Tigers. I think they have the best record since August 8th. I read something on ESPN or like a game preview a couple days ago. They have the best record in the MLB since August 8th. It's like 20-8, I think, at the time. I think that was before the last series. And we took 2 out of 3, so it's probably 22-9 since August 8th now. Yeah, I'm excited for the series. I'm excited but also nervous because KC has whooped us this year. It's not going to be easy, but I also think the guards can take 2 out of 3 against the Twins, so I'm really hoping that that's the case. And Seattle's now in the mix, and they're playing the Yankees, so hopefully the Yankees take 2 out of 3 against them also. I just don't want to lose any games over the next 3. The pass is made. Robbie Gordon, Sterling Marlin up to 17th again. It's as high as Blaney's been in the running order so far these first 14 laps. Qualified 25th. So it's definitely a slow working progress to get this far through. 3 wide to the outside. Blaney had a big surge on the backstretch and found just enough room to get by both Kenseth and Waltrip. They're wide to the bottom now, making passes. Now we're starting to get in a little bit of a rhythm. Slamming the door shut on Biffle and Mayfield, Hamlin, Kane. Good old Bo Phillips up here. No, it's Tyson. Never mind. It's a different driver in the Cup Series. It looks like Tyson's a rival, so we'll have to be extra careful with him. Quick block in the very outside, and look at the momentum that Dave Blaney's got. All the way to the back bumper of Kyle Busch, shoving him off into 3 and 4. I don't want this 191 car to hit us, so I had to be aggressive, pushing Busch all the way through the corner, and it worked. Yeah, Blaney's getting into rhythm now, up to 9th. Kurt Busch, Dale Jr., Scott Riggs. Little side draft on Labonte. Clear for 7th off of turn 2. A little loose getting out of the corner, but actually kind of straightened myself out once I got to the back bumper of Kurt. Bump draft to Busch. And I lifted that time getting into the corner so I didn't get him out of shape. I was smart about my bump draft that time. Dale Jr. makes the pass on Bobby Labonte also. I'm still pushing him. Trying to keep him in it. He was out of shape. I still hit him. I'm surprised I didn't turn him. If that wall wasn't there, I think I would have turned him. A little too much that time. You would think being the same manufacturer, a Dodge and a Dodge would align a little bit better. Penske Dodge and this Bill Davis Racing Dodge. Once we get to NASCAR 08, we have the car of tomorrow. Those bumpers will align a little bit better than these ones. This older, bumpier Talladega surface probably doesn't help us either. It'll be repaved by the next game also. It technically was repaved by the fall race in 06, but this game came out before that, so that is why we have the old Dega surface for both races. Lap 18 right now. So yeah, looking at pitting at lap 35. Which is kind of what I figured how far we could go on fuel. Again, trying to make this race on 5 pit stops today is the plan. As Dave Blaney makes his way all the way to 18th, or sorry, to 6th on lap 18. Harvick kind of pulling away from everybody on his own. Mark Martin remains in 2nd. Blaney now to 5th. And trying to keep up with the Hendrick duo in front of him of Johnson, Gordon. Barely hanging on to the draft. Might have made the pass on Sadler a little too early. And he's close. 24-48 down to the bottom. Blaney going there too. They're all simultaneously working their way by Mark Martin. And Blaney gonna follow the Hendrick cars. And he'll get underneath Johnson on the front stretch as well for 3rd. Yeah, this car's definitely quick in the draft. And an aggressive push to Gordon down into turn 1. Blaney was getting a lot out of shape there, but holds on to it, stayed in the gas, keeps the momentum up. And Gordon and Blaney are going to now try to close the gap on Kevin Harvick. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch all the Michigan game before the race Saturday. My stream starts at 7. It'll be close. I feel like those marquee games usually have more ads. So they tend to run past the scheduled airtime, which I think is 7. We'll probably end up getting blown out well before the end of the game anyway, so pretty much know what happens by then, I guess. And he feels he has caught Harvick enough. Makes the pass on Jeff Gordon for 2nd. And trying to get a run after Kevin Harvick. Ends at 7. Yeah, the airtime does, but they go past the scheduled airtime a lot in football. Especially, like I said, the marquee matchups, because they tend to have more ads during the game. Prolongs it. Blaney out in front, first time. Taking it away from Harvick. 5 bonus points at the line for Dave Blaney. He's going to try to lead as many laps as he can now. Trying to go for a max points day, of course. That much closer to trying to get the #1 seed. Harvick right back to the inside. It gets right back by the 22. We qualified 25th, so our single car speed to lead a line isn't great, so holding on to the lead isn't going to be easy. By trying to do it now, though, gives us a good idea of what we may have later. And there's the clearance on Harvick again. This time off turn 4. No official lead change that time. I think the game counts it as a lead change, but by technicality, it's not. Blaney led the last lap, and he's going to lead this lap at the line also. Gordon, Harvick side by side for 2nd. Might end up slowing this trio down just enough that we're going to have Johnson, Martin, and whoever else is back there start to slowly catch up, and that means these runs are going to be a lot harder to block when we get to that point. Blaney now put 3 wide, middle split by Harvick and Gordon down the back straightaway and into turn 3. We're definitely able to race with these guys. They're like a good old super speedway race, old-fashioned super speedway race. A run to the outside for Blaney on the 24. Harvick not going with him, though, and that's going to stall Blaney's run out. Trying to crowd the 29 just a bit. Now has him clear. A little run off the high side and in the draft behind Gordon. Slingshot back to the bottom. These guys are going at it at the front of the field. We've got a race. This is a legitimate race right here. The car's not strong enough to stay out here. Quick in the draft. Out of the draft, not so much. We're trying to make things exciting today. Nothing like racing like it's the last few laps on lap 25. We don't have any stage points on the line either. Oh, I thought... Okay, we're okay. I thought there was enough room for me to get behind him without lifting. And apparently that Dodge nose sticks out a little bit more than I thought. Back to the lead at the line again anyway. Good thing I moved up gradually on Gordon. I made sure, because I was like, man, that's a tight squeeze. I couldn't tell if he was clear or not. So it was just a gradual tap. If I would have just swiped up in line, yeah, I would have hooked him, and he probably would have went flying through the infield. Well, I was living to fight another straightaway. It's Elliott Sadler behind the 6 of Mark Martin that's closing in. Scared you? Keeping you on the edge of your seat on lap 27? I trust my driving enough. I'm willing to make this thing aggressive. I'll be aggressive from start to finish. I'll be the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. of 2006. That's what I'll be. That's me today. I'll make things interesting. The only difference is I'm going to try not to cause a wreck. As much as I can potentially help it. Surprised Johnson did not go with his teammate Jeff Gordon there. Down the backstretch and into turn 3. Goes with Blaney. Martin a little too far back, so Gordon not able to clear by a lot. Off the exit of turn 4. Gordon's got some good horsepower in that 24 car. Another little love tap. And a block on Johnson. Thanks for tuning in, Craig. Oh, not quite clear. Gordon's still there. Now clear into turn 3. The run stalled out a little earlier than I would have hoped. It's good drivability in this race car, though, for me to turn down when I want to. I feel like I can do a lot of things with the car. And Gordon, by less than a half a car length, leads that lap. That's a different Craig. My last name's not Franklin the last time I checked. 3 wide now for third. Harvick up the middle, Sadler to the top. Johnson was on the bottom, then pulled clear of Harvick again. Gordon seems like he's got the strongest car when he's out in front. I feel like I'm having a harder time trying to clear him than some of the others. Like Harvick and I were kind of going back and forth, but me and Gordon not as much. They're at lap 30. Oh, that was a squeeze play. I could have lifted. I definitely could have lifted there. We're good. I got Gordon way out ahead of the pack. Harder to stop the run from Blaney into 3 this time. And clear for the 22. Pole sitter Mark Martin back in the mix again. Pit stops 5 laps away. It'll be our first stop of the race. No cautions to this point in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. The racing from this 6-car pack at the front of the field may lead to a caution here sometime soon. I think Sadler just got loose on the bottom. I think he clipped the apron. And that outside line had so much forward momentum. And Blaney was able to cover the top, knowing that the bottom was well clear. Gordon to the inside of Mark Martin now into 3. Sadler, Johnson on the outside, still behind Mark Martin. And Mark is there. And Martin leads. Oh, Martin might have scraped the wall there up. Turn 2, he kept his momentum up, though. Looked like he scraped the wall. He got really close. The runs everybody's getting is just insane right now. Oh boy, that was a big slide. Now the side draft between Gordon and Blaney. And Gordon slams the door shut. Blaney blocked Sadler, but couldn't go all the way to the bottom because Harvick was there. I got my heart rate up a little. Well, the big run back straightaway. Just able to clear the 29 in time. Harvick would have side drafted Blaney enough. Probably could have pinched us behind Gordon still. I'm going to stay out this time. Again, we're looking at lap 35 to pit. A couple of these lead cars are pitting. It looks like Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick are down onto pit road. Some cars are just exiting pit road that pitted the lap before, while the leaders are still trying to lead a bunch of laps here at the front of the field. Honestly, I probably should pit this time just to be safe. I think I'm going to. We'll pit this time. I don't want to risk running out of gas here. I think I can make it to lap 35, but we started leading more laps here. At this point in the run, Dale Jr. trying to hold on to the lead lap, although Gordon to the inside, and Blaney's not going to be able to pit this time. Wanted to, but Jeff Gordon got underneath him off turn 4, and now we got to go another lap. I mean, I guess 35 was the originally scheduled pit time, but Gordon with that sneaky move to get to the inside. Blaney back underneath him on the back straight. Sadler with the push. Lap car, Casey Kane down on the bottom. Ah, golly, Casey, hold the inside, man. Jeez Louise, Casey Kane. He started coming up off the inside. Oh, we can't speed here. God, why do I do that every time, man? Not every time, but I speed a lot now. I feel like I used to never speed on pit road. Now I feel like I speed a ton. I was way late trying to brake for the pits. Still going to be a fuel-only stop. I was going to go rights only, but then the speeding penalty, I want to still get out with these guys. I don't want to lose them. Gas and go for Blaney, but a 5-second penalty for speeding. About 8 miles per hour over the limit. There goes Sadler. There goes Gordon. That's why we had to go fuel only to try to keep up with these two. And he's still out front of Johnson, Kurt Busch. How quickly can this 22 car get up to speed is going to be the question. Mark Martin hauling. Blaney going to slide up the track. Well, we did go 35 laps. A little bit of drafting help. Those two at the front start to separate a bit, although Blaney gets split 3 wide middle as he's still trying to get up to speed. In the draft now behind Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick. Try to stay with these guys so we don't lose too much ground. Ryan Newman looks like he cycled out ahead of the 24 and the 38 as well. So I think he's just getting up to speed on the bottom of the track still. So Newman pitted a lap after us. Oh, caution. Woo! Oh my gosh. Nobody was lifting. I should have lifted. I knew that was getting tight. Oh my gosh. He kept coming up. I didn't think I was going to be able to keep it off of him. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I thought he was going to keep it on the apron. Debris from Ryan Newman brings out our first caution of the day just after pit stops here at Talladega. He scared the hell out of me. Oh my gosh. Pit for tires? No, I'm not going to give up all the track position. We're going to have to wait. Green flag back in the air. Lap 41. I'm still committed to making this a 5-stop race today. We're just going to... It kind of stunks I had to go fuel only, though, because ideally I would have liked to have gone right sides and then lefts to just do a 2-tire split every time, but couldn't do it. So debris for Ryan Newman in the 12. His hood came off. That brings out our first caution. Lap 36. And that caution gave me time to bring the heart rate back down after Ryan Newman. It looked like he was going to just pull up right in front of me and Harvick, who were still at speed after the caution came out. I don't know why he didn't keep it down on the apron. Blaney trying to block. These older tires on that restart didn't fire off very well, and those top 5 cars pulled away. Bobby Labonte in 5th passes Dave Blaney. So I guess it's 4 cars up here at the very front of the field. I wonder where Newman had that damage for the hood to come off in the first place, and I wonder if there might be more cars that have damage potentially as well. We'll have to wait and see. A bump draft for Blaney to the back of the 43. I mean, tires don't matter as much on a super speedway. I know this is a bumpier super speedway surface, but I think we'll still have all right speed. The grip level is going to be a little less than everybody else, but I think the speed should be okay still. We were pushing Labonte all the way through that corner. Extra aggressive here, trying to catch this lead pack of 4 cars up ahead. 48.384 that last lap. Fastest lap of the day for the 22. Labonte up on the outside. Blaney still pushing. He's done a great job. 2 dodges, and we've got a caution again. Probably more debris. Right as we were starting to catch that pack ahead of us, caution comes out for the second time. And it's more debris, and this time it's Tony Stewart. So 2 cautions here in the first 50 laps at Talladega in the Aaron's 499. And we'll see what we're going to do here. I mean, we got to stay out again. I mean, we still only went like, what, a couple green flag laps before the caution, maybe 1. And then 2 after that yellow, so we really only have like 3 green flag laps on this fuel run, so still early. Everybody stays out again. Lap 47 restart, green flag back in the air, and now we're going to have to more than likely try to play catch up again. Fire off well through the first couple gears. These old tires are holding me up on the restart. I think I'd be alright if I was the leader, but not being the leader is a disadvantage in this situation for us. Well, I don't like being where I'm at right now. 3 wide middle, got to hold our line. Mayfield on the outside, Jimmy Johnson down low on the bottom. There's 3 wide up there for second, just behind the leader, Jeff Gordon. Thought the left front was already in the yellow, but I guess not. Blaney with the run off turn 2. Uses that run and pushes Greg Biffle down the back straightaway to get away from Jimmy Johnson, who initially was underneath and now is not anymore. And he's still shoving Greg Biffle. Big corner. Little wall scrapage, nothing much there. Ah. I like if Biffle would run the bottom of the racetrack and not the top. Having an extremely hard time trying to run that close to the wall. Try to get underneath him now. Oh, I shoved. I clipped the apron. Didn't want to turn. Turned enough. Keep it off the side of the 16. Blaney under Harvick. Clear. Back to 5th. Lap 50. Well, Bonnie's up to 2nd. He had a good restart. I don't think he has led yet in this race either. Gordon down the block. Probably heard from the spotter the 22 was coming. 48.180 for Dave Blaney that last lap, his fastest of the race, as he gets to 2nd place right behind Jeff Gordon. To the outside for the lead. And Blaney clear, barely into 3 to get back to the bottom. Passes Jeff Gordon on the outside of the back straightaway. Lap 51, 22 car back to the point. Lagging, was it a quick lag or is it still lagging? Just a quick lag. We'll have that, I guess. Yeah, as long as it's not consistent. So again, still looking at 4 more pit stops. 4 more stops in this race. No accidents yet, but we have had 2 cautions for debris. Newman's hood, front bumper piece of the 20 of Tony Stewart. Probably the longest we've been able to hold the lead consecutive laps. I think this is the 3rd lap in a row we'll lead at the line. It's Sadler now to P2. That's too much apron. No. I held on for 3 laps. That was on slightly older tires. We'll get him back up. Might make it 4 in a row. Ain't over yet. Into turn 3. Plenty clear. So, I mean, if we went 35-35, lap 70 would be the next lap we'd have to pit, but we're not even halfway out of gas yet. Because of those 2 cautions, we were able to save a little fuel, so we should be able to make it just past lap 70 before the next stop. Miffle 3 wide middle, his teammate Mark Martin underneath him. Elliott Sadler on the outside. Well, we're going to try to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. We'll see how this goes. Teach myself to hold my line as much as we can. I know Labonte definitely got underneath me in the middle of the corner. Side by side. Oh, Mark Martin, a little contact. Nothing major there, a little fender rub, that was it. Did it again. Push to the back of the 43. We're digging. Quick shot. Quick shot. And now going for it. Out in front. But I don't think Labonte was cleared. They get to my outside, they get to my outside. I don't want to be 3 wide middle right now. Sadler just go up the middle. Oh, Labonte got up against the wall. That's what happened. He got against the wall. 38 moved to the top. And Sadler's able to get to the lead. Big push into the corner. Sadler a little loose. Got straightened out, and now he's getting way ahead of the pack off turn 4. A little loose there off turn 2. Yeah, still got I think we still had a car down on the bottom. Now Jimmy Johnson's there for sure. Definitely couldn't clear. I'll do my best to read that comment, Wade, as soon as I get an opportunity. I assume there's nobody all the way to the bottom. Nope. First, we've really seen Dale Jr. up in this lead pack like this. Couldn't clear Johnson. Earnhardt to the bottom. Dale Jr. to second. Passes both the 48. And the 22. Junior Nation's got to be going wild at Talladega right now. They'll go even more wild once he takes the lead here in a quick second as this pack catches Sadler. Oh, I got tight. Really tight. I don't know how Johnson and Blaney were able to keep the momentum up after all that. Sometimes you hit the wall, bounce off of it like that, and sometimes you just stay glued to it. Earnhardt has a huge run after the push. He went high, 22 goes low. Sadler went high to block Earnhardt and back to the bottom in the center of the corner in front of Blaney. And another run to the bottom of the racetrack for the lead. Side by side. Sadler hanging on. Sadler right in the middle of the racetrack, was waiting to go high, waiting to go low. 22 waited for the right time to make the move one way or the other, chose the bottom, and clears Elliott Sadler through the middle of 3 and 4. Now Blaney back out in front of the pack again. Big slide up. Sadler, Earnhardt get by. Yeah. All right, kept it off the wall. That was close. I didn't know if it was going to start turning in the middle of the corner or not. Dale Jr. blocking the high side. Well, he might be able to get to Sadler. 22 is going to give the 8 a push. Sadler with a late block, middle of the back straightaway. I think he's there. It's hard to tell for sure. We are getting close to the end of this pit window. Middle of the tri-oval. Blaney trying to push Dale Jr. alongside Elliott Sadler and just can't quite get him there. Sadler blocks Earnhardt up the middle. And down to the bottom goes Blaney for the lead. And Junior follows the 22 on the inside now. Sadler still tight, door to door with the 22. Reaching him all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. Elliott Sadler leads that lap at the line. Lap 67 here at Talladega in the Aaron's 499. And Junior on the outside, he might be stuck. 48-16 down on the bottom now. Uncle Turner, thanks for tuning in. Drove backwards, caused 42 cars. One crash. Yeah, that's a classic. The old driving backwards in the NASCAR games. Only 2 left on track. Surprised you were able to continue. They're 3 wide for the lead in the center of the tri-oval there. Well, I thought we were. Maybe we weren't. We're just getting freight trained. Never mind. Go back to the far chase cam. Lap 68 here at Talladega. Johnson going for the lead underneath Elliott Sadler. Laney trying to keep up with this pack of cars just up ahead of him. Junior was going with the 48 that goes back to the top behind Sadler. Junior back down in behind the 48 of Johnson again and maybe going to go 3 wide to the inside. Ran out of real estate. Laney gets by Biffle. Dodge going to work with a Ford up high. Oh, boy. Nope, just going to get above both of them. Oh, contact with Sadler busting his way through. Blaney's going to lead that lap at the line. That was a gutsy move by Dave Blaney to get to the lead. Denny Hamlin down on the bottom of the racetrack, getting up to speed. Got a couple cars that are exiting pit road. We had a caution right after the green flag pit stops concluded earlier. Big run for Blaney to the inside of Johnson. Got squeezed with those lap cars there. Ooh, Jimmy might have scraped the wall. Off turn 4. Sadler to the inside with a huge run into the tri-oval and gets by the 22. Jeff Green in the 66. Blaney getting a draft off of him. Still trying to get up to speed. Now Sadler's getting a draft off of him to the high side, and the caution is out. And Green barely able to hold on to his lead lap. It's our third yellow of the race. Oh boy, we got a car upside down. It's Tyson in the 191. Trying to figure out how he toppled over like that, but a little contact with Scott Riggs into what looked like turn 3, and up on his lid he goes, bringing out a caution, and this will bring Blaney and a lot of other cars to pit road. And now we got a chance to go for 4 tires. Take the tires that we started this race with and take them off the car, and here we go. That trapped quite a few cars a lap down. This caution obviously again in the middle of green flag stops. The first 2 were after the first set of stops. So 3 cautions now in the race. Our first crash. IndyCar play-by-play announcer next season. Yeah, for Fox, that is interesting. Adam Alexander, maybe? I don't know. A little mistake. One tire changer there, trying to get that left front on. No clue what we're going to restart. There's some cars that pitted that were on the lead lap that didn't go a lap down yet. There's not many cars a lap down. Looks like there's like maybe 5 or 6 cars a lap down on the inside. But at least we got the 4 fresh Goodyears on it. And Dave Blaney will restart 11th. Green flag back in the air at Talladega, lap 75. Olsen pitching tonight. Well, that's huge. Seth Lugo has been one of the best pitchers in the league this year, so it isn't going to be easy tonight. We'll hope for the best. Bats were, for the most part, kind of silent against Baltimore, even though we took 2 out of 3. That 1-0 win was huge. We lost 4-2, 1-4-2. That last game we won 4-2. We only had like 1 hit in the first 5 innings, even though we were up 2-0 at one point. That Riley Green homer. We are getting close to halfway here. Lost 3 spots initially on this restart. Got a mix of those lap cars, lead lap cars up in that lead pack. Lost a couple spots on pit road. Casey Kane out in the lead. I believe that's the first time he has led today. When he gets by Harvick. 2-3 wide action going on up here. Back to 11th where Blaney restarted as he clears the 8. And Greg Biffle now out in front of the pack. Tight squeeze, but a run down to the bottom for Dave. And he kind of slicing and dicing. Trying to get back up here. Jeff Green went from the tail end of the lead lap when that caution came out to now up towards the front of the field, as he was one of the few cars that cycled out of the pits before the caution flag came out, so that really helped him. Casey Kane going right back after it on Greg Biffle side by side. Big run, 22, back in the 66 with a bump draft. Oh, Martin! Got into the 22 a bit. The 22 hits the 66, 43 bounces off the wall. It looked like Casey Kane and Greg Biffle made contact off turn 4, which kept Martin and Dave Blaney in it as they're still side by side. Oh, gosh. Biffle's up against the wall. Whoa! I didn't think he was there. No. Oh, we're gonna wreck. No, we're still in it. We're good. Mark Martin's out of it. Still green after all that. I thought for sure we were gonna wreck. Well, that really spaced the field out quite a bit, didn't it? We'll get back together at some point. We still got over 100 laps left. Oh, man. Billy, thanks for tuning in. A slide job and a block. Blaney back out in front of Biffle for the lead. Still trying to get the most laps led if we can. We've led quite a bit, but there's been several other drivers that have led quite a bit as well. Sound like I was constipated. It probably did. It probably did. I was holding my breath. Fans were going nuts. 22 likes on the stream right now. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live commentary streams on the NASCAR race weekend, for Truck Xfinity Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying streams. Got some midweek live commentary action with the truck race Thursday night at Bristol. And then we'll have Cup qualifying and practice beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern Friday afternoon before the Xfinity race Friday night, 7:30. Dale Jr.'s back for that one. And our Xfinity, following Cup Series coverage then will begin Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got these gaming streams tomorrow night again, as well as Wednesday, NASCAR 07 playthrough. On our seasons, we'll have our truck race at Kansas tomorrow, which is the next race on the schedule there, race 12, and then race 11 at Richmond for the Busch Series Wednesday night. Full races. Yeah, my fantasy team, I'm going to have to keep an eye on Monday Night Football again this week. It is close. I'm up by 8 points. I have Young-Hoo Koo for Atlanta, their kicker, and then I have, the person I'm facing has Saquon Barkley. And that's it. So it's 1v1, and I have an 8-point lead. Well, 7, but I have the tiebreaker. So it's basically an 8-point lead. Yeah, it's gotta be close, I think. I think it's gonna be really close. If Saquon goes off like he did last week, yeah, there's no chance I'm winning, but I think if he scores no more than one touchdown, I think there's a chance I still win, because I would imagine he could score a few points. But, I mean, if Saquon gets like 2 touchdowns, 60-plus yards, I'm probably losing unless Koo kicks like 4 field goals or something. Then I could kind of... It's probably going to come down to the fourth quarter on who's going to win that fantasy matchup. I can't start 0-2. Like, I've scored so many points these first 2 weeks, I can't go 0-2 right off the rip. My team's too good. Especially with the roster moves I made during the week. Scored more points this week than I did last week. My work league, though, I'm probably going to go 2-0. I'm up by 40 points. Oddly enough, the person I'm facing there has Saquon Barkley left. I don't have anybody, but I'm up by 40. So that I feel very good. I should win that. Alvin Kamara scored the most in that league and had 44 with 4 touchdowns, so it's going to take a lot to beat me up by 40, so I should win. It's crazy that like they're both really good teams. One I'll be 2-0, and the other one I'll be 0-2 potentially. Hopefully not. A 3-wide battle for the lead at Talladega going on currently between Dave Blaney, Greg Biffle, Casey Kane. Following our third caution of the day. Casey's going to be able to get into second. Slow car down on the bottom of the racetrack. I think that's Mark Martin up here after getting shifted out of line on that restart. It is Mark Martin, so now Mark's going to go a lap down. Casey Kane with a run on the back straightaway. Dave Blaney going to go between the 2 cars, up the middle, 3 wide, and to the lead. Blistering speed from the 22. I want to win. Obviously, I want the max point state for points, but is there a chance we can break Richard Petty's record for the most wins in a single season? If we win this, we win 7 of the first 9. The record's 27. So we have to win all but 8 races to break the record. We're close to, we'll be a quarter of the way through the season, so we'd technically be on pace to breaking the record if we win this race today. I'm trying desperately to keep that record alive. On top of course, winning a championship. The fact if I could do that with this equipment, that's insane. The fact that I thought the most dominant season I had was with Mark Martin on the last season. It would never be top. Won 20 races. And here we are, potentially winning 7 of the first 9. That's just wild. Got to get there first, though. We finished 25th in the Daytona 500, so we got to keep the track position. And if we get to the final lap of the race, trying to go for the win, do this blindfolded. No, I don't want to do this blindfolded. I don't even think I could put a full lap together unless I just rode the wall all the way around it. Not enough momentum for Greg Biffle to try to overtake there. Barely led that lap still, though. Second wind on the outside by Greg Biffle to get to the lead. And now he's clear into turn 1. Lap 91. We are almost halfway in the Aaron's 499 tonight. Pittsburgh Atlanta score A+ for the win. That's going to be a close one for you, too. Yeah, I had Alvin Kamara on my team this week on the league that I'm in a tight battle for the win with. I mean, I drafted him, obviously, so he was on my team last week, too. But, yeah, he went off. I had a Kane Thursday night. He scored a bunch for me. Tyreek Hill, 2 points, is really the only guy on my team that didn't really, contribute, I guess, to where I'm at going into this game. But it's everybody else went off. Well, I guess C.J. Stroud only scored me 12. But I still outscored his quarterback. He had Anthony Richardson, and he only got 9 for him. So, even though my quarterback didn't do well, I still beat his by 3. So, yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Fantasy football can be like that. You score the most points in the league, at the end of the year and be a 500 team. Like, that's just fantasy football. I remember there was one year, the year I won the league championship in my big money league, I shouldn't have. I was like middle of the pack in points scored, and I ended up winning the championship. But then the season before that, I had the most points in the league, and I ended up finishing like 4th. I barely got the first round bye for our playoffs. I was like, that year I was like, what do I have to do to win? Like, I literally did everything I could to win the championship, with my team. And then the next year I shouldn't have won, and I won. So kind of made up for it. And it's funny, too, because the guy that ended up winning the championship the year that I probably should have won it was telling me, he's like, oh, you should have won it or whatever. The next year, he was the one that led in points when I won the championship. So it really was like he took my title and I took his. Like, it was kind of insane that it worked out that way. At the end of it, we were okay with it because we both ended up getting our championships anyway. It just took me 1 year later, that's all. Yeah, my work league team, though, I know I'm only 2 weeks in, but I don't know how I can lose a game. Second most points this week. First most points last week. I'll be 2-0. And the guy that scored the most points this week will be 1-1. So I'll, easily have the tiebreaker of the 2-0 teams for points. As long as everybody stays healthy, I really I almost wonder if I'm even going to lose a game. Our regular season's only 14 weeks. I might actually go undefeated through the regular season. It might be the best fantasy team I think I've had. Even the year I won the championship, usually nobody goes undefeated. You'll lose a couple games. I think I lost 3 games that year, but yeah, to go undefeated, that'd be insane. I've never even seen that in our league before. I can remember one year somebody started 9-0 and then ended up beating them. Then he lost another game or two the rest of the year. Usually you lose 2 or 3 games, you should win the championship. But I've never seen anybody go undefeated in the fantasy season before. I mean, it's just so hard because, even if your team goes off, you're still going to lose a game or two here and there where, your team will go off, and then you'll just, somehow the other team you're playing will somehow score more points than you, even though you didn't think you could score any more. And then there will be weeks where, you win such a low-scoring, game. It's okay, I definitely shouldn't have won this week, and I still won somehow. So, good old fantasy football. What did I think about the race yesterday? I thought it was a good race until the end, and it just got sloppy. And then the finish was an all-timer. But, yeah, I mean, it's a repetitive thing. Especially this season for the Cup Series. This year in the Cup Series has probably been the worst I think it's been from start of a year to where we're at this point in the season with like a bunch of crashes at the end of races. Like you'll get it sprinkled in throughout the year. You'll have a race like that here and there, mostly on super speedways, but sometimes at other tracks. But this season, like from the second half of the regular season onwards, we've had overtime so much. I mean, it's ridiculous. We've had 12 races with overtime this season. And I wonder how many of those have been from like Nashville to now. Because I feel like it's been a lot of them. Well, we've had overtime in like 7 of the last 8 races or something like that. It's getting absurd. I mean, that race yesterday had one caution. Whoa, little contact there with Biffle. That race yesterday had one caution for incident in the first, 80 laps, and then with 10 to go, the Harrison Burton tire caution, and then all hell broke loose. That only caution for incident before that was the lap 1 crash. Pretty wide for the lead off turn 4. Casey Kane in that middle groove is going to come away with it. Blaney scraping the wall. You say 26? It sounds like we're going to have a slow car on the track. I think he said the 26, which would be Jamie McMurray. Jeff Gordon battling back for the lead. Now it's a 4-car group at the front of the field. Blaney to the inside of Gordon into turn 3. Coming up on lap 100 this time by... No, NASCAR's now running 1,000 laps. The only way that would even remotely happen, I feel like, is if they ever did like an IMSA race where there was a stock car racing class in the IMSA race. And with NASCAR owning IMSA, I wouldn't rule it out of the question, although it's 99% likely not to happen, but like that would be the only way we would come close. And even then, like when they do the Rolex 24, usually they end up in like what, the 600, 700, 800 lap mark. Like I don't even think they could get 1,000 laps in 24 hours. I've always wondered if they would ever like try a year where they would make the Bristol night race 600 laps, but I feel like now that we're in the day and age of shortening races rather than elongating them, I would probably lean towards that even not happening. $88 laps to go. How funny. I don't know if it'd be funny. It would be exhausting, especially for the drivers. Like they would have to make a driver change, obviously. I don't even think it'd be physically possible to sit in a stock car for that long. Like, you got guys passing out from dehydration after, like, regular 400, 500-mile races, depending on the temperature. You did twice as much. Like, they lose, like, 8 pounds a race as it is. If you triple the race length, or even double it, yeah, you're losing 16 pounds over the course of, like, 5 to 6 hours. Like, that's not healthy. That's, like, that is not healthy at all. Especially, like, could you imagine if they had to do that, like, week after week? Like, you wouldn't even survive. Because you wouldn't even be able to gain 16 pounds back by the next weekend just to lose it all again and then gain it back. Like, that would be so unhealthy. Like, even 8 pounds, you know, you can do most of that on fluids. But, yeah, that would just be... If I put danger back at stock car racing, that would put danger back at stock car racing right there. $600 laps at Bristol won't finish. No, I wouldn't say so. It's only 100 more laps. I mean, the race already gets done between 10 and 11 o'clock a lot of the time. Obviously, weather pending. Maybe, I don't even think it would take an extra hour to finish it. Another 45 minutes, maybe. You gotta figure you can get a lap in at Bristol in 15 seconds. 4 laps a minute. About 5, 6 minutes every 25 laps. Yeah, I mean, it won't take that long. that one year when they made Phoenix 600 kilometers instead of 500? It's the only time I could ever really remember them making the race longer. Yeah, Martinsville would be even longer than Bristol. Probably have more cars finish the race. Could you imagine that, though, with this next-gen car? How boring that would be. Bad enough as it is 400, 500 laps. This next-gen car at Martinsville, he had another 500. Lenny split 3 wide middle. Door to door with Jeff Gordon on the back straightaway. Trying to side draft to stay alongside of him. We're not that far out from our third pit stop of the race. I mean, we're within a few laps of seeing cars pit. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw anybody start to pit this time by, to be completely honest. I don't even know who led that lap. We were so even at the line. Closing in on that slow lapper that has exited pit road from an earlier engine failure. It's the 176. I thought he said the 26, which would have been Jamie McMurray. It's the 176 fantasy driver that blew the engine earlier and is now back out on the racetrack. Obviously down a cylinder. And he has stalled out that lead pack. Now it's just a 2-car breakaway between Dave Blaney and Greg Biffle for the time being. And Casey Kane got to third. Blaney leads that lap. Biffle on the outside looking for the lead. And Biffle's clear. Big run. Oh boy, Bobby Labonte came up the racetrack, and Blaney had to squeeze Greg Biffle off just to not make contact with the 43 car. That was a treacherous situation. Another instance where that car coming out of the pits probably should have just stayed a little lower. Lap 107. Surprisingly, we've only had 3 cautions. I feel like that's not a lot. But we could get more. We still got 80 laps to go. We definitely could get more, but I'd say calm other than the fact we did see 1 car flip during the last yellow. And he trying to side draft Greg Biffle. The plan is going to be to stay out of the pits this time by, and then we'll pit at lap 109. So again, Dave Blaney going to stay out of the pits this time. And it looks like Greg Biffle going to do so also. I'm not making it to lap 111, no, but we'll go to lap 108 and then we'll pit. Blaney leads. And hopefully I don't speed onto pit road like I did the last green flag stop. Blaney clears the 16. Martin Truex Jr., Jeff Green, Dave Blaney getting the draft off of him. Pulling Biffle just a little bit on the back straightaway now. He'll give a bump draft to Jeff Green into turn 3. Draft with him to get by Truex. And Blaney's coming into the pits. Got to make sure he does not speed, and it will be right side tires only for the 22. So right sides only. And we did a good job not speeding that time. Second green flag stop of the day. The other was under caution. Was at the race yesterday. Awesome, man. I think I remember you saying something about you were going to the Glen this weekend. Oh, even going right sides only there. Slower stop to the 22 team. Blaney barely able to stay out in front of Greg Biffle. I think this picker is just slower for Bill Davis Racing. The fact we went right sides only, we barely cycled out in front of Biffle, coming into the pits practically side by side with him. This 22 car will be up to speed in time that I think he should be able to cycle out in front of the field here. As we have Kevin Harvick in the 29 leading this group of cars up out of the pits. Blaney trying to block the 16 of Biffle. It's Kurt Busch, that was for third. And there's the leaders, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Blaney on the outside, going to get by both of them. Biffle drafting with the 22. So Blaney does cycle back out in front. Second time we've cycled through green flag pit stops here today at Talladega. And again, the thought process is that this was going to be a 5-stop race. We have now pitted 3 times. And we have 78 laps to go at the line. So pitting at lap 108. We go another 35 from there. We're going to be looking at, again, assuming we stay green, lap 143 pitting. Where honestly, we could probably just go lefts and then fuel only splash and go at the very end of the race, and I think we're good. I don't think we have to change right sides again. If we get a caution, I probably will change them, but if we don't get a caution, probably what we're looking at. Because that last run to the checker, we'll have to pit again with less than 20 to go easily. That last stop, the way this is playing out as of right now. Unless we get a caution in the final 40, then might bring cars to pit road a little earlier. Oh, Matt Kenseth's up in this lead pack. First time we've seen him up here today. I don't think he's led any laps. A 6-car group. Maybe more closing here before long. Blaney trying to block both lanes. To the outside in front of Biffle. Here comes Harvick down low. Side drafted Kevin Harvick back to the lead here at Talladega. Oh, big block, but he wasn't clear. Almost gave up the bottom for Kenseth to get to the lead, but Harvick gets back down in front of the 17 car. Blaney with a push to Harvick off turn 4. Some another shot. There he goes into the tri-oval. Clear. Woo! It's a little closer up high than I thought it was going to be. And he's shaking back and forth. Harvick trying to do the same as he tried to get back to the lead. Have I ever seen Chris win in person? Yeah, I saw him win Michigan last year. That's the only Chris Buescher win I've seen in person. I haven't seen like any oddball winners. Well, I guess Austin Cindric, technically. I saw him win the Daytona 500 22. That was the only 500 I was at. So I saw one of his 2 career wins. I guess I saw AJ Allmendinger win the Indy Road Course. He's only won 3 Cup races. That was in 2021. Catching that 176 lap car in the 111. It looked like also around him. Blaney clears both cars in the tri-oval. That guy might cause a wreck before this race is done. I would not be shocked. Think of the guys I've seen win the most time. Probably Kevin Harvick. I've seen him win a lot of races in person. I've actually seen Chase Elliott win a lot too. Seen him win on a lot of road courses. Roval in 19, Watkins Glen in 19, Road America 21. Saw him win at Dega in 22. Seen Brad win quite a bit. I saw him win the Brickyard 400 in 2018, Atlanta in 19. Talladega in 2020. There's some other Brad wins in there that I'm probably forgetting. I'd almost assume that there is. Harvick's probably got the most, though. I've seen him win at Michigan 3 times, and I've seen him win at other tracks, too. So I would think Harvick's probably got the most of anybody I've seen. I've seen Alex Bowman win quite a bit, too. I saw him win Chicagoland in 2019, which was his first career win. I saw him win at Pocono that year when Larson blew a tire in the final corner, final lap. I saw him win Dover that same season in 21. I saw him win Martinsville in 21. I saw him win 3 times in 2021 of the 4 races he won. And then I saw him win in 19. So actually, Bowman has won quite a few when I've gone 4 that I can think of now. Larson, of course. Most of those were in 2021. I saw Larson. 600. Nashville. Bristol that year. I went to a lot of races in 21. I'd like to start doing that again. Give me a couple more years and I'll probably be going to more races again. That year and then 22 was awesome. I went to I think I went to 8 races in 22 and 11 in 21. That was just an insane stretch. In 22, I only went to 3, and I only went to 1 this, or, yeah, 23, I went to 3 of them, and then 1 last year, or this year, I mean. Reagan Smith, 2011, yeah, that's definitely an oddball one. I've never seen somebody who's only won 1 career race win in person. Granted, there's very few drivers that have only won one race. Guess the closest I beat to that is Cindric, who has 2. He had 1 for a while. Brad 19, Kansas. Yeah, I'd have to come back with that answer again tomorrow just to verify. I want to know how many times I've seen Harvick win, because I saw him win Michigan in 22, 19, 18. So yeah, 3 times at Michigan. I know there's some other tracks I've seen him win before, I would imagine. Bill Jackson, thanks for tuning in. I've seen Mayfield, Carl Edwards' first wins. There you go. That's pretty cool. That Edwards one was awesome. That photo finish with Johnson at Atlanta, that would have been an exciting race to see. Yeah, I've seen a couple races that have been... I mean, most of the races I've seen photo finishes have been at Dega. That Bristol Xfinity race in 21, that was about as close as you could get. That was probably the coolest thing I think I've ever seen at a NASCAR race before. That Bristol finish in 2021, the Xfinity Series, I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's just like slide job over slide job those last 2 laps, and they're crashing, coming across the line, nose to nose. That place was going nuts. It was like half full because it was an Xfinity race, but it was loud. It was still loud. I was like walking out of there, and it was just kind of like, did I seriously just see that? Like for the first 10 minutes of me walking back to the vehicle after the race. I'm like, I can't believe what I just saw. Crazy. Harvick to the outside of Blaney for the lead. We're doing a good job, honestly. I think we're going to lead the most laps in this race the way it's looking. About to catch that 176 car again. I think he's the next driver up ahead. We've had 3 cautions so far today, but we haven't had a yellow in a while. I think the last caution we had was just after lap 50. Just getting to the inside of the 176 back straightaway. I'd break this draft of Jeff Gordon a little. Don't want him to get too big of a run on us, even though out of line. Remember the day? Yeah, you often remind me of it. I remember. Yeah, it's always cool to meet you guys. I was still waiting for the day I guess I kind of had a situation like this before, but that I just like meet you guys at random, like, I don't know, grocery store or something. I feel like those are going to be the times where I'm like, wow, I really have done something special kind of thing. Well, I've met a few of you at the racetrack. Just halfway through this current field run, lap 127. Ripple to the outside. I wasn't too aggressive with that block. It's kind of itching my leg. I knew Gordon was still down there, so we kept our momentum up enough. He's still on the inside into 3 and 4. Big Biffle up on the high side. A little side draft getting in. Carries a bit more momentum off the exit. Oh, a little contact. Harvick to the lead into turn 1. Busted through there. Yeah, I remember you like saying I was Keegan, and like I didn't know who you were because obviously I've never you guys see my face, you know, sometimes every day or every week, you know, however often you would watch the channel, but I don't know what any of you guys look like, so it's kind of, you have to tell me who I am. So I'm like, who are you? Back around Harvick again. Working lap 130 this time by. Again, still probably looking at lap 143. 143 of being the next stop. Should be right around 55 laps to go, or 45 laps to go, which is obviously outside the fuel window still. From that point, we can get close to about the final dozen laps before we would have to pit again. So the plan is going to be to change left side tires on this next pit stop and then go splash and go only to the end. And hopefully on that splash and go only, we try to build a gap. Probably only going to put like a half a tank in there at that time, because that's all we would need to get to the finish. Nice, clean, successful block on the outside on Gordon. Back to the bottom lane on Kevin Harvick. Oh, geez. Clipped a lot of the apron there. Somehow still held on to the lead. I feel like I should have lost more momentum than that. Here comes Gordon now to the outside. It was a little delayed. He got there eventually. But he's not going to take the lead. He doesn't have any help. And Harvick doesn't have much help with Biffle getting underneath him. And they're 3 wide for second place into turn 3. There with a block on Harvick into turn 3. I'll hold on to the lead. Final time will alternate through these different camera angles in this race today. Harvick, big run, goes to the outside lane. And I believe he is there. Laney led that lap. Not by a lot. And Gordon actually was able to slide up in front of Kevin Harvick on the outside. I mean, I've said it from the beginning of the race. I feel like of the guys who have kind of challenged for the lead throughout the day, I think Jeff Gordon and us are the 2 fastest. And he's the one that when he gets out in front of me, I feel like it takes me a few attempts to try to clear him when I get underneath him. I will say I've been a little bit better with timing these runs out as we've gotten later in this race, but turn up the game. How low is the game volume for a lot of you guys before I turn it up? I usually have it on this setting all the time. I think the field being so spread apart, turning the audio of the game volume down a bit. Contact with Greg Biffle on the back straightaway. Catching this 176 car now. Turns 3 and 4. Oh, looked like he was going to go wide. Just able to get to the inside to get on by. Yeah, I just don't want to make it too loud so that way you guys can't hear me, or I don't have to yell on the mic just to get you guys to hear me at that point. Oh, I thought Gordon was pitting that time. It's really low off turn 4. I think Biffle might have scraped the wall off turn 4 as well. Harvick on the outside lane, but Blaney still led that lap at the line. '22 still just trying to cover the bottom with Jeff Gordon there. Kevin Harvick still up top. Blaney still trying to block Gordon. Side by side with Kevin Harvick pretty much this whole time. Harvick not a lot of drafting help. Biffle's just now catch up to this top few. I think we're 3 wide middle off turn 2. Gordon on the outside, Harvick on the bottom. Finding a hole to get back to the outside. Jeff Gordon leads. Into turn 3 and a quick push. Harvick probably still on the bottom lane of the racetrack. And now clear. Off of turn number 4 and through the tri-oval. .50 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by Jeff Gordon leading at Talladega in the Aaron's 499. Just kind of creeping along at this juncture of the race. A long time since our last caution to where we are currently. Oh boy. Gordon up against the wall. Kept his foot in it. One car blowing up on the inside of the track. Now Jamie McMurray is blowing an engine in the 26. And caution, I wonder if somebody hit McMurray. Our fourth yellow of the race, ending over a 70-lap green flag run. Oh my gosh. Well, that was a deadly crash. Casey Kane, it looked like. Casey Kane hitting Jamie McMurray in the 26, toppling him. He didn't really flip. He was just kind of on his nose and then back down on all four, but we do get a caution. And this is going to set up a 4-tire stop under the yellow here for the 22 of Dave Blaney. So 4-tire stop with the caution. Yellow flag strikes with 50 laps left. Again, our fourth yellow of the race. And this is the fourth pit stop of the day, second under caution. Yeah, glad Detroit signed Lucas Raymond. He was good for the team as young as he is. Good young player with a bright future. All right, so some cars a lap down. About to get to the restart. Lost some spots on pit road with that caution. Green flag back in the air as Dave Blaney restarts in 6th. We started lap 143, so about where we would have been if we would have just pitted under the caution, only this time the field compacted more together than more spread apart if we were to pit under green. Some lap cars and lead lap cars getting by to the bottom of the racetrack. Blaney definitely losing some positions. So now we're going to have to pay attention to the lap marker we're at in case we get another caution. Blaney just trying not to make contact with anybody here. Oh, Kurt Busch. Well, we made contact, but that wasn't my fault. Kurt Busch with a bad block on Dave Blaney. Blaney holds on. It's gone by so quickly. It's been almost 2 hours already. Honestly, doesn't feel like it. I think a lot of it is because the racing we've had, especially that first 100 laps. I mean, we were going at it for the lead, and then it kind of got tamed there until the caution, and field got kind of spaced apart after that green flag pit stop sequence, and so it was kind of tamed for about 30, 35 laps or so, and here we are right back in the hornet's nest again, and trying to move forward. .44 laps left. As soon as we get right around that 35 lap to go mark, if we were to get a yellow, then we would pit again. Three wide for the lead at the front of this pack, and Dale Jr.'s in the mix. Crowd going crazy. We get later and later in this race, these AI cars are going to start blocking way more aggressively, and we've already kind of seen that a little bit on the restart. Kurt Busch, after a quick second, Dale Jarrett was maybe going to pull down right in front of us. He didn't. A couple lap cars still mixed in with the lead lap cars at the front of the field. This pass would be for 7th for Dave Blaney. Started 25th in this race. Slow climb to the front of the field in the first fuel run, and ever since then, it's definitely looked as if he has been a contender for the win. I get underneath Bobby Labonte and Tony Raines 3 wide. And I believe Raines is the lap down. I'm staying in free pass position with the other lap cars. Could be around him. Dave Blaney going to give Bobby Labonte a bump trap. Final stop is going to be fuel only for Dave Blaney, whether that would be under caution or under green. Blaney pushing Bobby Labonte most of the way into turns 3 and 4. Now Blaney underneath him. Elliott Sadler leads. Dale Jr. was just leading this pack a couple laps ago, and now he's back to 5th. About to fall to 6th. Side drafting Dave Blaney. Blaney just gets to the inside of Biffle still. Trying to get a pole off of Kevin Harvick. And Harvick looking to the inside of Gordon for 2nd off turn 2. Blaney clears Biffle for 4th. Jumps to the outside. Harvick's lost a little bit of that drafting help. Gordon blocks. Gordon going for the lead under Sadler. And here comes Blaney to the outside with the bottom covered by the 29 and the 24. And a bump trap to the back of the 38. And he's trying to help him out. Looking to work together here. To the lead, and now the 22 will underpass move. Clear. Still clear. 40 laps to go at Talladega. Dave Blaney leads again. McMurray out of the race from that last crash. Not sure on the report for Casey Kane, who hit him. McMurray was already smoking at the time of the crash. And close to the edge of that final pit window now. Leading that lap at the line, Dave Blaney has now led the most laps in the race, as his crew chief has just awarded to him. So 10 bonus point performance again for Dave Blaney this season. Be back-to-back max points days if he wins. Had a max points day with a win at Phoenix in the last race on Friday, excuse me. Last Friday. We were at Texas last Monday. I'm kind of hoping it stays green to the end. I think that's going to give us the best chance to win, assuming we stay up here and don't do anything too stupid. We've been pretty clean and successful with our blocks the whole race. I'm definitely going fuel only, even if we have to pit under yellow. I don't want to lose track position. I want to make sure that we're going to hopefully win the race off pit road, go from there. Because, I mean, realistically, obviously, at the start of the race, we went like 70 laps on those tires to begin because I sped on pit road the first time, so I went fuel only. So we know the tires are going to handle well, only having to go 50, a little less than 50. We restarted with, 48 laps left? So 48 laps on this set of tires, that's not bad. Like I said already, less than we went earlier. There's the 176 on the outside. We'll catch him a few more times yet in this race. He'll stall out some of the pack on the outside lane down the back straightaway into 3, while the 22, 38, and 29 get away on the bottom. So 3 cars nose to tail for the moment, then another 3, and then the rest. Big Matt Adams. I can remember his glory years with the Cards in the early 2010s. Had him bashing home runs with Matt Holliday. Carpenter towards the top of the lineup. That was a good baseball team. There's a reason they won a World Series. Not to mention you had Roy. No, not Roy Halladay. That was the Phillies. Adam Wainwright. There we go. That's who I was thinking of. The wrong ace in my head. Michael Wacha, wasn't he on that team too? Young Michael Wacha. Oh, a little contact in the triangle between Kevin Harvick and Elliott Sadler. Space out the top three even more here. Blaney getting well ahead of him. Yadier Molina, how could I forget about him? There were some dudes on that team. Was David Freese on that team? You'll have to let me know in the chat. I think that was before the Colt Wong days. I think he came along late. Oh, Pujols. How can I forget Pujols? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that team was stacked. I can't believe I forgot about Pujols. Only like the greatest hitter of my generation. Greatest hitter that didn't take steroids in my generation. I should reiterate there. Reiterate that phrase. I don't know if A-Rod counts. Although Pujols had about as equal numbers with him, and he was clean, so there's an argument there. Crazy. Got to see his 2000 career RBI in Detroit. With the Angels in 2019. That was pretty cool. It's the only milestone, any sport that I've ever seen. So that's pretty cool. Almost sat in left field that day knowing that there's a chance that... And there wasn't that many people there because that was a bad Tigers team that year. And it was a Thursday afternoon game. Following a rain delay, nonetheless. There was a rain delay at the start. Could have had a chance there. I remember seeing Bryce Harper when he was a rookie play up in Comerica, too. I sat over in foul ground left field, and he was playing left field that day for the Nats. "31 laps left. A lot of three-wide racing here at the front of the field. Greg Biffle getting back to the lead on the bottom of the track. Only blocked the lanes for so long, and here's Dave Blaney. Blaney underneath Biffle. Biffle trying to hang on that right rear corner panel, but Blaney is clear and pulls up. So block the 16, back to the bottom on the yellow line. No out of bounds on this game. Seen drivers utilize that, including myself. And you may see it here as we get down the stretch in this close race. 30 laps to go. And again, everybody has to pit one more time yet. I think we need to be one of the first cars to pit, because if we catch a caution in the middle of green flag stops and I'm not up at the very front of the field with a restart with like 10 to go, that's going to hurt my chances, I think, of trying to win this thing. It takes me a minute to get through the field on the restarts. We're halfway out of gas, so as soon as we see cars hit pit road, I want to be one of those first cars onto pit road. We're going to go fuel only, so that way we can try to cycle up to the front. If being at the front of the field, you won't go a lap down. If we were further back, we would, but we definitely would not go a lap down where we're running, even with a 4-tire stop, let alone fuel only. So that's going to be our strategy kind of going forward. So I don't really know exactly what lap we're looking at, but I definitely don't want to take this as long as we can. Yeah, Tigers were close a couple years ago. I think they only won like 42 or 43 games that year in 2019 when I saw a bunch of games. They were close. They were in the low 40s. I saw 2 of those 40-something wins, though. Went to 11 games. They only won 2 of the 9, or they went 2-9 in the 11 I saw. It's crazy. And they beat the Twins, who won the division that year, like 12-11, one of the games I went to. That was the wackiest baseball game I've ever seen. One team was up by 5 runs, and then the Tigers started to like pull away, and then we were up by 5, and then they came back and they tied it in the 7th. I was like, what the heck is going on here? It's a weird game. A lot of home runs. And then they beat the Orioles, who were the 2nd worst team in the American League. I saw them play them. Just timing that 176 down to the bottom. Stacked up everybody but Dave Blaney. Off turn 4. 27 laps to go. Go Cleveland. Yeah, we're gonna, me and you, Wade, we're gonna be the biggest Guardians fans for the next 3 days. I'm going to be intently watching that game while I'm at work on Wednesday. I think Detroit plays at night that day, but I think Minnesota's got an afternoon game against Cleveland. Could be wrong on that, but... Oh, man. Swung wide. Car got tight. Almost into the wall. Gordon to the inside now. And Blaney somehow able to block down there as well. If he had more cars directly behind him at that time, I think he would have gotten there. Gordon's, like I said earlier a couple times, I'll say it again. I think Gordon's got the fastest car in this field. When he's out in front, it's been kind of hard to pass him. Blaney trying to keep the 24 in his rear view. Bounces off the 43. And still holds on. And Gordon sneaks to the inside of Blaney in the middle of 3 and 4. 25 laps to go this time by. Gordon clear. Jeff Gordon, Dave Blaney, Dale Jr., Bobby Labonte, Greg Biffle, Jeff Green, the 6 cars in this lead pack. Late in the Aaron's 499. 43-119. That was in 2003. They were close to that. How many games they win in 2019? Because they were in the low 40s, I thought, that year, too. ...2003. No, I'm saying 2019. I went to as many games that year because it was so cheap. I took advantage of it. I was sitting behind home plate for like $20 a ticket for, like, I'd be within the first 8 rows for like $28, $20, $30 a game. I'm like, I'll never have this again. I guarantee if I would try to sit there now while they're playoff contenders, I guarantee they're probably like 60, 70 at the cheapest, and that's during the week. Weekends are probably 90. $47 and 19. Yeah, I knew they lost a lot of games that year. Oh boy. Careful trying to squeeze into a hole that wasn't there. 3 wide middle. Blaney trying to side draft Jeff Gordon. Side by side for the lead. Still 23 laps to go at the line this time by. And Gordon back out in front again. Bouncing off the wall is Blaney. And then into Jeff Green. Gordon managing that gap for the moment. Blaney trying to get another run at him. Blaney to the inside. And back to the lead again. We've seen a couple hard hits today, but we haven't seen the big one. And we saw one car flip, which was the third of the 4 cautions we've seen so far today. Not that many yellows here in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega compared to what we would usually see on this game. I think the Busch race had 5 yellows, and we ended the race on a 50-lap green flag run. This will be a 48-lap green flag run if we go all the way to the finish. And Blaney does want to be one of the first cars to pit road. Just in case we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops, which have happened twice. We've cycled through them twice, and 2 times we've had cautions in the middle of green flag stops. $199 down the backstretch. Yeah, we're going fast. Everybody's flying in this pack. We've seen Jeff Green so close to pulling off an upset win in that Mark Martin Revenge Tour season. And he finished top 10, 8th, I believe, at Phoenix in the last race. Here he is, trying to win at Dega. He's up to 2nd. I don't think he's led yet today, but here he is. I'm looking at lap 172. I think that's going to be my pit. Lap 172 will be the final stop for Dave Blaney. I don't need anybody to go with me, knowing I'm going fuel only. I don't want anybody to pit before me. Yeah, split screen and play as both drivers. That'd be terrible. I don't even think I could, like, steer and stay on the gas at the same time. Maybe with my right hand, but I don't think I could do that with my left hand. That was close. Whipple hanging on the left rear corner panel, trying to side draft Dave Blaney. Big block, center of the tri-oval, down on the bottom. Jeff Gordon to the outside. And a block there as well. 19 laps left at Talladega as it is crunch time. No, I'm right-handed. But like the left hand, though, like all the acceleration stuff's on the right side of the controller. So it'd be hard to, like, take, like, my middle finger on the gas on R2 and then, like, somehow hit the analog stick still. Like, that'd be a challenge. Right-handed, I feel like it's somewhat possible just because I could, like, stretch my right thumb across to the analog stick and maybe have X as the acceleration. I would be bouncing off the cars and off the wall every single corner, but at least I might be able to make a lap that way. I don't think I could do it left-handed. I don't know if anybody could do it, to be completely honest. 176. Bottom of the racetrack, then pulled to the top on the back straightaway. Blaney Biffle got by on the outside initially, and here comes Biffle. Pack getting spaced apart quite a bit. Gordon, Bobby Labonte getting by. Jeff Green looks to have lost a lot of ground. Plus that is Green, and then Gordon lost ground. We can go a few more laps on fuel, but again, Blaney wants to be the first car to pit road, so we're probably looking at pitting this time, as we have 17 laps to go in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. Definitely don't want Biffle to get underneath this. Blaney again pitting this time. It'll be fuel only. Can't speed. This is the money stop. Splash and go.
Number 16, going on. Okay, we're back in second.
Doesn't want to lock the tires up either. Great pit road entry. Couldn't really have been much better. Half a tank of gas. That's going to be it. So again, just a half a tank. Splash and go for the number 22. Who's left-handed in my family? My sister. My grandpa's also left-handed. "29 cars on the lead lap, Blaney the last of which, as he was the first to pit road. No drafting help, but again, this is in case we get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops. That's why I wanted to be the first to the pits, and now we've got other cars pitting this time on the front stretch, so no surprise there. I figured they were going to be pitting real soon at that point, so we got cars coming down to pit road right now. That's why Blaney wanted to be the first. We're good on fuel to the end. Even though we only took a half a tank there, we're in the green on our fuel indicator, so we definitely put quite a bit in it. I wanted enough to make it to the end, obviously, and we should have that. No problem. 15 to go at the line here. I don't want there to be a caution, but if there is, this is going to keep us out in front of the field, I do believe. Biffle pits, Bobby Labonte to the lead. I don't know if he's led a lap or not, but he's definitely going to lead now if he didn't before. 5 bonus points either way. The driver, the 43. Oh, 5 stops. There we go. Right side's only on 1 stop, fuel only on 2, and 4 tires on 2 of them. Roughly a mixed bag of strategy today. And a short pit here on this final stop. Not by much. I mean, I would have had to pit within a few laps anyway, but just enough to be the first. All these cars coming out of the pits. If we stay green, Blaney will cycle ahead of them in the running order. Gordon, Biffle, Bobby Labonte stayed at least 1 more lap. Field will bunch back up together again at some point. They're going to get up to speed, and we don't have the drafty help. They will catch us if we stay green. But this will give us more laps to at least ride around for the short time. Got 13 more cars yet that have to hit pit road. And we have 13 laps to go. Qualified 25th. Oh, well, there's the caution. That is exactly why Dave Blaney short pitted. Caution flag is out at Talladega. Another car pirouetting after getting hit from oncoming traffic, the 111. This time he DNFs after that crash. Kevin Harvick drills. That was similar to the Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray crash. Dog's excited for the end of the race. Well, we're going to be stacked up now. We should be the leader. That's good. Definitely staying out. That's exactly why we short pitted. Good call, good call. Slightly older tires here, but it's what we needed to do to hang on to the lead. Green flag in the air. 8 laps to go in the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. No idea if we're going to get any debris cautions from that incident, so have to stay out in front as long as we can. Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon just behind. Single file. There are cars a lap down, but they are at the tail end of the lead lap line of cars on the restart because we have less than 10 to go per the NASCAR rules from 2006. Blaney blocking for his life down the backstretch into turn 3. Biffle on the inside. Gordon on the outside. Blaney the dominant car of the day by way of laps led, but Gordon pretty quick too. Biffle's led his fair share of laps. I'd say the 24 probably a little quicker than the 16 when they get out in the clean air in front. 7 laps left. Biffle trying to squeeze underneath the 22. 22 staying hooked to that double yellow line. Back straightaway, not a big run from Gordon or Sadler yet in those middle grooves, upper grooves. Three wide for third. The caution, by the way, was our 5th yellow of the race. Dale Jr., the Pied Piper, down on the bottom. Go figure, we see him up here late at Dega. 6 to go, and he's going for second to the inside of Biffle into turn 1. Biffle tried to go high, got blocked. You have to assume Earnhardt's going to have some speed. Dave Blaney trying to block the pack. Kenseth's back in the mix for the first time in a while in this race. Jeff Green is back in the top 5. He's going 3 wide to the inside of Kenseth. Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. I see Sadler in the picture. I don't think we'll catch that 176 car to the finish. He's very slow and off the pace. It'll be close. Or 5 to go this time by in this 2.66 mile oval. 3 wide for second off of turn 4. Green to the inside of the 8 and the 16. Blaney blocks all 3 lanes into the tri-oval. I think I see Brian Vickers up here. He actually won at Dega the fall race, so it would technically be his first career win here as we're in the spring race. It'd only be fitting if he ended up hooking Earnhardt into me at the end of the race to win it. Can you imagine how weird that would be? Happens in real life and then happens in the video game from that same season. Like 18 years after the fact. 4 to go. Jeff Green looking for the upset. On the bottom. Back to the top. Blaney continues to mirror drive. Biffle trying to block Earnhardt. Stayed out of line to the bottom a little longer. Blaney building a little bit of a gap between himself and Green into 3 and 4. 3 to go this time by at the line here at Talladega. Blaney up high to block. Earnhardt popping out of line down to the bottom. He gets blocked by Biffle. Mostly single file here into the tri-oval. Green almost to the outside of Blaney. 3 to go. It's about as close as anybody's gotten to getting side by side with the 22 on this restart. He had a bigger run than I thought. I thought he had plenty of time to get up there, and he still almost got there. That's how big these runs have been all day today. Say, haven't seen as many lead changes in the back half of the race as the front half, mainly because I've not only been more aggressive with the blocks, but I'm more comfortable in making them than what I was earlier in the race, still trying to get a feel for the car. So I didn't race around cars in practice. And now it's Earnhardt Biffle side by side. And this is going to be hard to block. Both cars. And Earnhardt is there. Blaney leads. 2 laps to go. Blaney barely holds on. Earnhardt was underneath him, but couldn't complete the pass. Thought we were going to get split 3 wide middle for a second there, but I don't even know if Dale Jr.'s led at all in this race, but he's trying to lead the most important lap, and these two are the top 2 in points as well, Blaney and Earnhardt. Right front starting to go away on the 22 just a bit, but the handling is still clearly there. Off turn 4, they'll be coming to the white flag. Final lap of the race. Biffle clears Earnhardt. No cautions on the final lap. 176 car. Still well ahead of this lead pack. He won't be a factor. Even as off the pace as he is. Biffle trying to block Jeff Green here for second. Swinging to the outside in front of Earnhardt. Blaney in front of Biffle. Down the back straightaway. Biffle trying to block Green. Green there. He is underneath him. Green looking for second. Earnhardt pushing Biffle on the outside. Coming to the checkered flag this time by. Long ways to go to get to the start-finish line from here. Green almost clear of Biffle. Not quite. Into the tri-oval. Blaney blocks both lines. Biffle with a run to the outside. He's going to give it to him because he had enough to get to the checker. Dave Blaney wins the Aaron's 499 at Talladega. 1/1000th of a second in difference between second and third as they cross the stripe. I don't know who got it between Green and Biffle. Looked like Biffle. 7 wins on the season. Great strategy call to get to the lead on the assuming caution if we were to get one in the middle of green flag stops, because we had a couple times earlier. Didn't want to lose the lead that time, so we went fuel only to get out ahead of the pack and stayed there for those final 8 laps on the restart. Yeah, Biffle got it by a nose. 1/1000th of a second, the difference between second and third. The difference between first and second, 83/1000ths of a second. They both had it there. I was willing to give Biffle the outside coming to the checker just because I felt that we had enough momentum with Green kind of there on the inside, even though he was kind of looking low, but take it. Side-by-side finish. Blaney wins. All 3 of those guys started 22nd on back, too. Dale Jr. started 4th, didn't lead a lap, finishes 4th. I mean, he was up there the whole day. He just somehow didn't lead a lap. 14 laps led for Biffle, 2 for Green. 91 for Blaney. We led more than we did in the 500. We led 70 there. But 91 today. And we started further back in this race. Daytona, we started, 12, I think? So, that's because of the dual race. I qualified about what I did at Daytona, but redemption from not winning the 500. Crashing on the last lap, flipping on the last lap, ended up finishing 25th. DNF. Couldn't make it back to the checker, but today we did, and we won. 65 lead changes, 5 cautions, 3 hours, 6 minutes, 51 seconds total time on the race, 160.58 mile per hour average race speed. And Jeff Green, great run. Underdog finishing 3rd, Dale Jr. again 4th, Matt Kenseth 5th. Jay Tyson, fantasy driver, 191 car. He flipped He was the car that flipped earlier. Still finishes 6th. Jeff Gordon 7th. Elliott Sadler 8th. Brian Vickers 9th. Thought I saw him up there late. And Ryan Newman led 2 laps, finishing 10th. He was one of the cautions for debris. He had actually brought out that very first yellow earlier in the race. In all, we had 16 drivers finish on the lead lap, mainly because we had 3 cautions in the middle of green flag stops. I thought we had more in the lead lap than that, but that last caution, I think, lapped a lot more. Jimmy Johnson blew a motor in this one. Didn't realize that. Tony Stewart blew an engine. Jamie McMurray, we did see him blow a motor and then crash. Is that Kurt Busch? It's either Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch that blew an engine. One of the Bushes. S. Watkins, W. Hall also blew motors. I think Watkins was that 111 that was in that last crash and wrecked out of the race. But yeah, either way, ended up finishing with. Looks like Mark Martin actually. No, he finished, but 4 laps down. That's right. I forgot he was off the pace for a minute. He led 7. Started on the pole, too. Was strong in the middle going to the race, early going, but fell off there in the second half after that contact up in the lead pack. That was after, I think, the 3rd caution when we almost wrecked on that restart. That was as close as we were to having the big one. A couple multi-car incidents today. 1 flip, but no, like, giant crash that took out a lot of cars. And as a result of that, we actually only had 6 DNFs today at Dega in a 500-mile race. That was a good race. 65 lead changes. We were going at it. Got the max points day. That's awesome. And we'll see how much we expanded the point standings over Dale Jr. Not much with him finishing 4th. He didn't lead a lap, and we led the most. Next race going to be 400 laps at Richmond, one of my better tracks on this game. So we're trying to go for that Richard Petty record for the most wins in a single season. You got to think, too, though, this isn't a season-long points format. So once we get after the 26th race of the year, we're only going to have a 5-point lead if we have the number 1 seed. So we'll have 10 drivers within, like 65, 75 points, something like that, 65. So yeah, the point standings will tighten up at some point, guaranteed. And actually, Biffle is up to 2nd in points now, ahead of Dale Jr. Despite Jr. finishing 4th, Biffle ended up 2nd and got bonus points for leading some laps. He led 14. So Biffle now 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd, Newman still 4th. And Newman had a top 10, of course. Stewart, Johnson, DNF. So now Johnson is the outside. Can you imagine that? The actual champion from 06 outside the cut line. And then Tony Stewart, Stewart actually missed the chase in 06 in real life despite winning the title in 05. So him being 10th here, I guess, isn't shocking for that reason. But yeah, Martin DNF, he's 15th now. We're going to have some good guys missing the chase, I think, at some point. Especially, I mean, look at the Robert Yates cars, 5th and 6th. They were further back, but they had a great day again today. Sadler, top 10. I expected that with Sadler winning the Daytona 500. I figured he'd be good today. Dale Jarrett, I remember passing him in the top 10 at one point. But yeah, they were 9th and 10th in points coming in. Now they're 6th and 5th and 6th. So it's just how tight the points are. Still early in the season. That's the main reason why the points are super tight amongst those drivers. That'll start to space out as we get into the summer months of the season. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll be NASCAR Truck Series racing tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. We will be live Kansas for the truck race. I can't remember if it's a 250-mile race or 200-mile race. If it's 200 miles, it'll be 134 laps. 250, it'll be 167, whatever the length is. But full truck race tomorrow night. That season, Bo Phillips, fantasy drivers, won 5 races. We've won 3. We're the points leader, but he missed a race. And I think that's the only reason we are the points leader. Because we don't even have a full race on him, even though he missed a race. That's how good he's been on the year. So we'll see if he can win another one. Maybe we get back to victory lane. The intermediate tracks, I've kind of stunk at, really, both with this season. With Dave Blaney, it's been my worst spot, not leading a lot of laps here. The truck series, I'm not leading a lot of laps there. The Busch series, I am with Clint Boyer. But yeah, the truck side, cup side, 1.5 miles, intermediates, definitely my weak point. So we'll see how that race goes tomorrow. Appreciate it, everybody, as always. Have a good rest of your Monday. See you back and better than ever again tomorrow evening. Go Tigers!